Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Porch Talk. This is episode 27. Uh, we have a pretty special episode for you tonight. We're going to do a high school football preview. We're going to have a few coaches come on, just previewing the season, get you a little bit excited for it. Before I get to that, I do want to thank you for watching. And if you're listening on Spotify, thank you for that as well. Just a few things. If you haven't saw us before, this is, I guess I don't want to say second season because we don't have seasons, but we were here last year. We covered a lot of football last year, had a lot of player interviews as well as some coach interviews. We've been blessed to have a lot of special guests come on for what you would say is a story about their life, and those have been fantastic so far. Just in the last month, we've had head coach Brian Moore from Richlands High School, varsity basketball team. He came on, and as well as a former Green Dragons standout, Jeff Lester. We had a 2-part series with him, and we just concluded it the other day. Probably one of the best episodes I think we've ever had. So definitely check that out. Just going forward, I want to give you kind of an update. We have an episode next week and the week after that we have planned. But after that will be week 1 of the high school football season. And after week 1, we'll start doing the player interviews and whoever else we can get for you guys. Also, one thing we're talking about doing, and we'll see how much feedback we get and if we can have enough participation in doing it. And that is we're going to have a segment each week to where you fans can let us know prior if you want to hop on the show just for a minute, 2 minute, whatever. Just kind of give a statement saying that, hey, I'm excited about the team because of this, or I'm upset because of this. Whatever it is you may want to do with that time, we'll do that. Just a heads up, it is pre-recorded. So if you get somebody come on and just wants to troll or whatever, we'll just kind of cut that out. And we're not going to allow any negative talk about the players personally. But now, as far as talking about the football games and stuff like that, we encourage that. So yeah, it's just a little segment we have coming up in the near future, and we'll see what you all feel about it and see if there's a lot of participation.
Doesn't matter. But as far as that call in, if people do call in, I know coaches are adults, but I'd like to kind of keep it like not personal either. So like a legit critique or something, or just your opinion, I'll be fine with. But like, I don't want people coming on and like attacking people's character and stuff like that, especially when they're not here to defend themselves. So, stuff like that. Keep it clean. Other than that, I'd like to hear from people and get their opinions and stuff like that. It'd be fun, I think. So
definitely, I think it'll be something each week that no matter what, people will tune in just to see what's said. You never know. With segments like that, you get a lot of off the wall stuff sometimes. Here we are with head coach from Grundy High School, Keegan Bartley. Keegan, I want to start off by saying, second year now, head coach. What are some lessons that you've learned from last year that you've been able to implement in this off season, to get ready for this season upcoming?
The biggest thing was that we were in really good shape last year. That was the one thing we wanted to work on, was make sure we outworked everybody that we made play, and maybe the football knowledge took a hit from that just because we were working so hard of making sure we lasted longer. Now, granted, that did win us games, but our football knowledge this year is way higher than it was at this point last year. We can start tomorrow with game 1, and I would feel comfortable with what the kids know to go out and perform. But we'll definitely see where that's at tomorrow with our first scrimmage and see if I'm correct or maybe I'm just full of it. I don't know. We'll see.
Going into a scrimmage like this and the jamborees and the preseason, I think everybody's probably got their own strategy and theory and stuff like that. Kind of what's your approach? You don't have to give anything away, obviously, but do you kind of just have a base thing you want to run and just get the kids going and get them playing, or are things you're really looking for and maybe tweaking during these scrimmages, or is it more like a let's just get the game and get some hitting going on.
I think you hit all of them right there with what we want to try to do. It's always good, especially in a contact sport like football. It's always good to hit somebody that's not your own brother, you know. So
Mhm.
that's good. We definitely have like our base formations that we look at that will roll into the season. Now we may not show obviously a lot of ideas that we have out of that trickery type stuff, but that's with everybody. That's a given. And then lastly, it's like just seeing what we need to clean up, like what, especially with the younger guys, right? Like who can help us that come game time, because Friday night lights is a lot different than practice. There's you got practice kids and then you got game time kids. So when it's a different color jersey over there, maybe a kid performs better than he does in front of us. So it's all that stuff that we got to take into consideration and make sure we're fixing our mistakes that we recognize. If you don't care, I can give an example of that. We had there meet the wave, and I don't know in the stands how many people would notice, but we noticed on the field as coaches certain mistakes that we immediately had to clean up the next day that we were having. So, same thing with those scrimmages, any kind of technique type issue that shouldn't be happening, we'll get that fixed immediately and stuff like that. So I think you hit it in the head with all of that for our priorities.
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, any day that you can go and pick up something that you need to improve on the next day, that's a positive. Uh, I know you kind of briefly already spoke on it a little bit, but I don't want you to, I guess, give a win total or anything like that, but just expectations going into the year, what you would like to see out of this team.
So last year, our quote was, like I said earlier, about working harder than our opponent, but we also wanted to uphold the tradition of Grundy football as well as exceed the expectations that people had set on us last year. New first year head coach, a lot of seniors on that state semi team from the year before were gone. The entire offensive line was new. So we wanted to just exceed the expectations last year of what people set for us. And it's the same thing this year for me personally. I just want to be better than we were last year. So if that win total is better than 5-5, since that was our record in the regular season, if we beat that, I call that a success. Now, granted, the goal is to win the region championship. Only one team of the 15 does it. That's the ultimate goal, but just because you don't doesn't mean you can't take stuff away from it and it's an unsuccessful season. So if we can exceed what we did last year, I'm happy.
Go ahead, Cam.
Oh no, I'm just gonna elaborate on that a little bit. Yeah, I mean, like you said, the previous year to that, y'all had a lot of success with that state semis team. But even last year, I think I don't know if you want to say it's a rebuilding year because I think y'all shown a lot of good spots. Uh, that win last year y'all had over Patrick Henry. Patrick Henry ended up being pretty darn good team, and I think that was a good win for y'all to get and something to build on to even take on to this year. That hey, we can compete with some of the top teams in this area. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of elaborate on that a little bit, but I also wanted to mention or ask you, uh, personnel wise, as far as your players and stuff go. Uh, I wanted you to name a player or maybe even a few players that no one knows about yet, but they could by the end of the year make a name for themselves.
Okay, this was an easy one for us. Logan Lester's the household name, so we were not going to name him. But Luke Shelton on the offensive line is a monster. In my opinion, he's the best around. I know it's very arguable and debatable, but now, as far as our district and area goes, PH has the offensive line. I won't argue that. I love Paget, Coach Paget over there, and the kids he has. But as far as in our little Buchanan County area, I love Luke Shelton. And Trey Taylor has to have a big year. He's a speedster. He has touchdown potential any play. Right, he's that fast. Put him at running back, put him at slot receiver, put him out wide. That's a name that I hope becomes a household name in the region by the end of the season, just because of his athletic ability, and he deserves it. He's worked hard for it.
Um, Going into I guess the second to last year here in the county, I know it's not as big a deal this year as it will be next year, obviously, being the last years of high schools. But um, is that a thing that you're having to kind of approach right now and keep not keeping being a distraction to certain players and knowing that you're winding down the years of what has been a long storied tradition at Grundy?
It's kind of like a double-edged sword. We build it up saying, hey, you are the last few players, that are going to be in Grundy history. Let's finish off great, right? And then it's some of those younger guys, they can't wait to get to the new school, new facilities, new everything. Today's generation loves new stuff. So uh, yeah, that's double edged, but we try to build into that. That was our big thing. Is after I gave a speech to the seniors on the state semi team, like this may be our last shot, just because of that experience, not because of talent, but they had that playoff experience year after year, and it's like we may not get another shot after this, so why don't y'all just go win it right now? And it'll be the same thing this year and next year. I'm give the same story because that talent is there. We just got to push it, and we're going to try our best to make things happen in the last 2 years of Grundy football.
Yeah, we've already kind of mentioned it a little bit, talking about again last year, first year head coach. Uh, I guess a question for me, I'm a big guy or big. I'm really interested in culture in football and just team building and stuff like that. I think coming in the situation you was in last year, I think there's a lot of coaches that wouldn't have got the wins that you got. And so I'm interested in you personally, what you do with the team to build culture, or do you just kind of embrace what was there, before you, and just try to keep it going?
Both. So Coach Plymouth before me had set a really good foundation with the kids and how to behave and how to treat the kids. So I just continued that. Right. I don't. If they need anything, they know to just give me a call. They know to text me, whatever the case may be, if they need anything. So just that kind of role model, right? To know that they can trust me and I trust them. So that's the kind of culture we like to implement, and I like to think that I'm pretty well liked among the players. So I definitely think that helps. If the players like you, they want to perform better. And that was my goal when Coach Plymel was nice enough to recommend me for the job. I was wanting to see it through. However long that was of Grundy High School being around, I wanted to be that guy for those kids until that time comes.
I think week 1, Carroll County, is that correct?
Yes.
Old Southwest District, rival, I guess, probably. I'm not sure about how big of rivals you were, but Southwest District opponent for Grundy, AAA school, I think, is
Yep.
so. I should have looked, but I'm not sure if you're at home or away. But either way, going into that game, um, is it like if it is a road game, it's a long road game.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So your thoughts going into week 1? What are you expecting? What anything about them? I guess, and just kind of your thoughts head into it.
So Carroll County means winning that game means more to me than it does the kids, because like you said, that's an old Southwest school. So when we played Carroll County. We were in the Southwest District in 2009, 2010, and we never beat Carroll County. Carroll County, I know at the Grundy Fieldhouse, we've got pictures hanging up on the wall of 10-win teams. Right, and Carroll County was the game that kept us from reaching 10 wins that year. That was a game we should have won. So I got a grudge against Carroll County that we got to win. So we didn't get it done last year, and I took full responsibility for that as not being, like I mentioned earlier, the football knowledge prepared. We were in better shape than Carroll County, but that knowledge wasn't there to be able to pull that win out last year. So this year, like you said, long road, long travel. That's the biggest thing, is just to make sure they're relaxed, make sure their minds are right, because it's a long trip and easy to get distracted before. And once you get to a location like that, that's tough, far away game.
I guess y'all probably leave like Tuesday evening, won't you?
yeah, that'd be nice. I'd love to be able to spend the night, especially that game got moved to Thursday night due to a lack of officials in that area.
I was joking. I was almost dead on then because I
Yeah,
was.
yeah. So that's going to be a tough next day with them kids having to try to go to school on Friday. But
Mhm.
the way that I looked at it and the way I've told them is the NFL. They've got the Super Bowl champ first game of the season every year. They play on that Thursday night. All eyes are on them, and it's the same thing with high school football. There's going to be multiple coaches and players out there that's just watching us on the NFHS. Like we're the show that night around this area. So it's going to be important to perform well in that and hopefully exceed those expectations again that people may have for us.
And you had already mentioned Lester, being one of the household names. So I wanted for you to be able to comment on that a little bit. Just talking about what he means to the team and what he means going forward in this year and how important he is to you.
He is so important that he is the difference in some games between a win and a loss. Just his athletic ability. He's truly that talented. He's that special. Um, he would start for any team somewhere, right? I've told him he's not a better quarterback than Music from Honaker. He's probably not a better receiver than Music, the brother from Honaker. But like the overall package, he's just so athletic, and he would start and make any team better. And we're fortunate enough to have him. Uh, he's goofy. Once you get to know him, he's a breakout. He's a leader. He's great to be around. All of his teammates love him. The coaches love him, and the work that he puts in that nobody sees is tremendous. Like his work ethic is bar none, and I like to think that he's quarterback skill set, just his quarterback skill set, he's the best we've had in a decade or more. So his future in college is probably a receiver type guy, um, but he can do it all. He's an all-state caliber cornerback. Uh, he has all region potential at receiver, offensive utility. He's just a blessing that we have.
Go ahead, Cam. I'm good.
Yeah. Well, I have two more that I wanted to ask you real quick. You already kind of mentioned a little bit the history that Grundy has, and the community there does a great job at rallying around you guys. I just want to give you an opportunity to talk about the community that you have.
The community's great. A lot of support, right? A lot of fans were in the crowd on Friday nights last year, so that was tremendous. I hope that same support comes back this year because our home schedule is really tough. A lot of talented teams, so we'll need any kind of home field advantage we can get in those 5 games. Uh, Meet the Wave we had the other night. We held a practice in front of them. That was a new tradition. Was a pretty good crowd. I hope they enjoyed that, and I really appreciate our community, especially when people come up, not so much for me, but just say, how's the team looking? Just want to talk football, that kind of thing. So anytime you go into the public and somebody's like, them kids ready for Friday, they're invested. So it makes me feel special in that sense that they care about those young men.
Yeah, I think that's one of the truly special things about high school football. Even just going down through town and seeing the signs on the windows, hey, gone to the ball game, seeing the posters and stuff that the cheerleaders and all those people do. It's cool feeling in the air that you get. Just so it's back.
Yes.
I got one more real quick one. Usually I do like a I don't know. I don't want to say funny necessarily, but off the wall question for like a top 3 type thing. It's a new thing we're doing.
Okay.
But it's not. This is not really a funny one. But I'm gonna kind of put you on the spot. Not you can take your time a little bit, but kind of quicker. First thing comes to your head, answer. Um, you not. It doesn't have to be the best player or who you think is the best players from Grundy ever. But the first 3 that you can think of that maybe meant something to you growing up watching or that you remember hearing stories about. But we'll just say Keegan Bartley's top 3 Grundy players ever.
All right. So number one, this one's easy for me, was Luke Owens. It's the reason I wore 74. Talk about him when I was 4 years old and I went to the pediatric doctor and they said, to my parents, he's looking like he's going to be about 6'4", 250. They both looked at each other and was like, you know who that sounds like? And so Luke's a household name in my family. So definitely Luke's in that top list. Watching, I'm not real keen. I know names, but as far as just my top three from what I was watching, Garen Markham at running back was phenomenal. I'm not going to say Krieger because I want to get him started later. I want to hear about that, so I'm not going to say Krieger's the best quarterback. And Aaron Markham, defensively, the brother was a stud. I watched film of him, and he had like 20-some tackles in the first half against Prestonsburg one year at Prestonsburg. And that's just watching him on film was, remarkable talent. So for me, I think the first three, not counting Krieger because I don't want to give him that big head, is probably Luke Owens, Garen, and Aaron. And then I can go on and on about all kinds of talents with Copenhagen, Luke Dales, Albert Childress, Jimmy Ashby. I can go for hours.
Yeah, three's a tough, to narrow down. That's why I said not really the best, but maybe what meant more to you necessarily, what you come to your mind, because you could go on for a pretty good while, and really that would be an interesting breakdown of how different people's opinions. But the three you named, that's a pretty good three to start a team with right there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you got both sides of the ball solidified, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Just one quick thing before we get you out of here, because we had missed the opportunity, just scheduling, vacation, everything we had going on. But we were going to get you and a few others on for instant reactions on the new school name. So just want to quickly get your take on was it the Southern Gap Eagles? Was that what we went with, I think?
Yes. My take is I'm fine with it. Southern Gap, I think I understand the logic on all three of them, right? I understand the Southern Gap, I understand the Eagles, and I understand the colors. I really do. I understand why people are also upset at some of them. Like, should have been another, uphold tradition with the coal mining and the, around the community. So I get that. I'm fine with it. Southern Gap over Buchanan County. Some people don't mispronounce, Buchanan. I get that. I understand where people are coming from. So that's just my reaction. Is I'm fine. Don't hate, don't love, but I'm happy for it. I'm happy it's getting done. I'm glad for the kids.
Yeah. Right, do you have anything else more?
No, I'm just real quick. I'm with you. That's not a hill that I'm. After it all come out, I'm not. That's not a hill I'll die on arguing against those or for those. I'm like you. I was kind of neutral. I'm not really like none of them blow me away. I was a big fan of the Eagles for some reason. I think that's great, and I actually like the color scheme just because of the history of kind of mixing everybody in there in some way.
Right. Yeah.
Southern Gap's kind of where I was like, I'm not mad about it, but I'll live with it. It's fine. 5 years from now, I won't even care.
Right, yeah. And one note I will add on to that, because you said you mentioned the Eagles, is if I had my pick, I like the Eagles as a name. I see eagles all the time around my house. They're beautiful. But my thing was with that, I would have really loved something different. Just not different than eagles, but something that isn't common is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, that was my thing too. I honestly, I don't know what. We could talk about this for all night, but I was just like, I couldn't come up with anything that really rolled off tongue either. So, like, I'm with you. I would have wanted something unique, something like that. Yes. But when it come down to it, I was like, what can you really? I don't know. There's some good ones thrown out there. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of schools, a lot of mascots. Hard to find a unique one to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, we appreciate you coming on, and I'm sure we'll try to get you on again. Once football season starts, and you can give a shout out to Lester, because I'm sure we'll try to have him on too, because I know he'll have a lot of big games this year that we want to talk about.
I hope so.
Yeah. Good luck to y'all this year. Looking forward to watching. Hope everybody stays healthy.
Yep. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Coach. All right, we're back again here with Castlewood football head coach, Shon Chisom. Coach, we're glad to have you on. I just want to ask you first, being a new coach of the area, can you give us a brief summary of yourself And what intrigued you about taking the Castlewood job?
Yeah, guys. So I'm been doing basically from Roanoke. I've been coaching the last 6 years down there. I did 3 years at Case Spring High School as a quarterback coach and a pass coordinator. Called all the pass plays for the varsity team, and then at PH I was given the offensive coordinator job for the JV for the last 3 years under Alan Fiddler. So I was under Alan Fiddler at PH, and I was under Tim Fulton over at Cave. And what really interested me about the job, I mean, it was I'm a big small town guy, and I've seen like the success that you can have in small towns. The town will really rally with the team. It's everybody loves football. They may not even know what a 1st and 10 is, but they love the fact that you get to come out there with those helmets on and hit people and make big plays and the excitement behind it, the crowd. So my biggest thing was I wanted to start small. This is my first coaching job, and Castlewood being a single A down here in Russell County, and it gave me the opportunity to try to build a camaraderie around this team, a family-oriented organization that when we step on the field, it's not just 11 men on and off the field. It's the 12th man, which is the family that I want to instill into the areas. Because I want to get the fans involved. I want to get the town, the community backing us. And, I've always been a small town guy. Like, I started my football career in high school at Abingdon High School. So, I'm from the area, so I'm familiar with Southwest Virginia. This is where my career started as a player. And it took me into great heights. I played at the collegiate level, high school, and obviously I made it to the NFL with some teams. I dabbled in some practice squads, arena teams, CFL, things like that. So, or OTAs is probably a better terminology instead of practice squad, OTAs. So, my career started in Southwest Virginia, and to get an opportunity to come back and to be the head football coach of a team in this area, it's been awesome. And, who knows where it'll take me, but, I started my playing career here and now I started my coaching career. So it's been a blessing.
Any first thoughts going into, I guess, coming into this first year? I mean, like you said, it's a small town. Cameron had mentioned y'all had several 40-some players maybe or something like that out. Was that kind of a surprise coming in? I'm not real sure what Castlewood has had in the last few years, but I know for schools that size, that is on the upper level of numbers. Had to be well, even if it wasn't a surprise, that has to be a good feeling as a coach seeing that many bodies out.
Oh, yeah, no, it was. And I told the guys when I came in, when I had the meeting with the staff, the AD was like, hey, man, we average about 10, 25, 30 guys a season. And I looked at him, I was like, man, I want 40 to 60. I really did. I was like, and I'm talking, because we moved the 8th grade up to make a JV. I was like 8 through 12. I mean, I want 50 to 60 guys, 40 to 60 on this team. And I think right now with JV included, we've got 53 kids on the team. And so it wasn't a surprise to me. I knew what my goals were, and I try to speak things into existence. I'm very adamant about what I say. I try to do. I follow through with everything I say I'm going to do. And so we were able to bring out kids and get the kids at rallied up and excited to play and get a JV schedule on the board. That was my first thing was, okay, I want to get enough kids to have a JV team. And now we do. We have a 5-game schedule. I just wanted to start small to see where it goes. So no, I mean, I wasn't surprised. That was my goal, and my goal is to increase that number the next year. I want to stay around 50, 60 kids every year. So on that note, no, I mean, it's awesome to have them. I mean, the energy's been great. The kids, coming off a 1-9 season last year, you would never think this is a 1-9 team. I'm in the locker room every day with these kids, and they're excited. Like it's like their second home, like it's their brothers, and they're out here just having fun playing a game and learning. It's been awesome to have all those kids come out and play. And the best thing about it, we've retained all those kids. And now I don't think a single one has quit. And I'm in the building right now recruiting kids to come out. I think we've had 2 new kids show out that are going to try to play, potentially 3. And so to be in the building, to get those kids to come play and to see, the family that we're trying to build here, because it's one of us, and that's what I want it to be. I want to be a family organization, and it's coming well nicely.
Yeah, and just to kind of touch on that, actually, my next question it kind of has to do with culture. Castlewood has had about 3 straight down years, and so just curious about what you're going to do to change the culture there. It already looks like you're doing that, and I'm just interested in some tactics that you're going to use to bring, I guess, a more winning culture.
You know, you got to have the players kind of have a say in what they're doing, especially the leaders. And so, the first thing I wanted to get implemented was, I call it the captain status. So, every week somebody steps out there, or 4 kids or 3 kids go out there and do the coin toss. With me, and with this organization, with these coaches, we wanted to narrow it down to the top kids that support our team, support our community, that are out in the community, and that support our school in the school, like they do the right things in all 3 phases of life. And that was the first thing we started. And, Mason Long, he won the award for being the captain of the team. And what that means is basically through, good health or bad health, or if he's out there on that field, he is going to walk out to the coin toss, and he gets to, call that coin toss. And, it's because he's our leader. And the kids voted. The kids voted, the coaches voted, and everybody's vote was accounted for. So that was the one thing I wanted to instill, was that we got to have a leader on the team that is announced, that's there. So like a chain of command, if you have an issue, you go to him, and then he comes to me. And then if I have an issue with a player on the team, I go to him, and he goes to that kid. And so we're trying to get accountability involved, and that's how we've gotten accountability. And like our starting quarterback, Braden Houchins, he won honorary captain, so they'll have a gold sticker on the back of their helmets. And he doesn't get to walk out there every week, but he's a part of those meetings. He is just as important as Mason is when it comes to holding kids accountable, getting them that practice, getting them to their classes. And so that was my biggest thing, was getting a captain instilled to get accountability. The other thing I wanted to change culture wise was, uh, when we are on that field, is the mental health aspect of things. So, you hear like the Tom Brady, man, he's like, hey man, we're down 21 points, and he brings them back. It's mental health. He knows what he's worth. He knows what they can do, and he is able to instill into his guys that they're able to do that. So being able to motivate our kids, you know, you don't have to always holler and scream at them if they do something wrong. Coach them up, be that guy. Sometimes it gets aggravating, absolutely. But you've got to understand, like, some of these kids, man, have never played the game of football. So, you're having to coach these kids from the ground up, and being able to be a positive role model with all of our coaches. And that was the biggest thing I wanted to bring into this organization, was mental health, positivity. And it's been great. We had great couple practices because of it. And the kids are positive. If you have a healthy coaching staff, you have a healthy team. And I believe we have both ends right now. And the culture's been fantastic. The kids are buying in. And like I said, those are my two beliefs, is that, we are going to hold people accountable through the players, and we're going to be very enthusiastic, exciting, and be positive when we're coaching, as much as we can, not crazy hollering, but, getting on them and knowing we love them, treating them as a person. That's what they are. At the end of the day, they're a person. That's what they're a player. It's hard. It's a hard game, man. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys have played it, and it's tough. And so, I've played at high levels, and I know, like, it's rough. Like I said, we've done a great job of that. The kids, like I said, you wouldn't think they were 1-9 team last year. It's a completely different mindset, and I'm so proud of those guys, and what us coaches have able to do for them.
Coming in first year, obviously, but being around, like you said, you've around the area, into the Cumberland district, kind of, I don't want to say top heavy, but you've had Twin Springs, Rye Cove over the last few years, and then East Side last year made a big jump, I think. What's your thoughts headed into the district play this year? Not so much where you think you'll finish, but just things, the competitiveness of that district right now. Who are some teams? Your thoughts on what your opponents are going to bring, um, and this pretty good long tradition of good teams in that district. I guess just your thoughts on the district as a whole.
Man, I've watched some film from last year, and like I said, it's a great district. Rye Cove, I think, won it last year, if I'm not mistaken. They were, heavy hitters in there. They're big kids up front. I think they got more kids than we do. And those coaches have gone up there and done a great job of establishing a good team. And And Twin Springs is, I think they're in there as well. And Eastside has even done a really good job. That coach over there, he's done a great job of getting a program built. It's good competition that I think it can lead into a good playoff run if you can finish high in that district. I mean, I think Rye Cove lost to Honecker, right, in state semis. It's any district's tough, but when you got a team like Rye Cove who is the front runner right now, you really you watch them, you kind of see how they establish themselves. They're a downhill punch you in the mouth team. And so, I kind of want to be that way. That's the way we're coaching our kids up right now. But, the district's great, man. It's going to be tough. It's going to be exciting to be a part of that and to see what we can accomplish this year.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want a win total or anything, but just expectations going into this year. What do you want to see on the field as far as improvement?
Consistency. When we're running our plays in practice, we practice how we play. So consistency, accountability, like we had talked about, positive energy. Those are the three things I believe that if you bring to the table those three things to a football game, you're a hard team to beat. Everybody's beatable. I don't care if you're 10-0. I mean, you've got some great teams like Rivers. Was it Rivers? Oh, it slipped my mind.
Riverhead.
Riverhead, right. They were on that
Yeah.
streak for 4 or 5 years, man, but they were beatable, and someone finally did it. So every team is beatable. And so, like, we go in with those three mindsets, accountability, high energy, and we're consistent across the board, and we do our job. Consistency is a part of that, doing your job, and not worrying about what the next man has. You'll win football games. So those are the three things that we've got to bring, and that's my expectation on this season is that we bring those three things every Friday night.
I'm not real familiar with Castlewood's like pregame traditions, nothing like that. Are there any traditions that have been in place for a while that you will continue as far as like pregame stuff, a song, walkout, anything like that? And is there anything that you've with your new staff being a fresh start that you all are bringing that you and the players have kind of got together and decided on that we could look for?
We've got something in the making, something new that we haven't even announced to the kids yet. It's going to be like a surprise to them.
Okay.
It's like an excitement thing for your first home game to walk out to what you're about to hear. And we're gonna do like tomorrow we're gonna go through our little pregame walk on how we're gonna do it and stuff. But they're not even gonna know the song. But we do have a pregame ritual that we're gonna do. And I don't want to give too much now because some kid sees it now we
Yeah.
ruined it, right?
Yeah.
But it's like I said, bringing that excitement. And so we're going to start our tradition and keep it going. And it's not just about, like I said, it's not about those 11 guys. It's about that 12th man and getting them bought in too.
Yeah.
So they don't even know.
I'm not sure who y'all got, but you've got me ready to go wherever y'all are at week 1 or whenever your first home game. I'm gonna come find out.
I wanted to ask you about your roster a little bit. I've been asking some of the other coaches this, just to name a player or players, more than one, that no one knows about right now, but by the end of the year, he's going to make a name for himself.
Man, first kid who comes to mind, I think, is Braden Houchins. Everybody knows he's our quarterback, but last year, his total, he struggled with a lot of interceptions and things. This kid is really, really bought in and very coachable and does everything as asked of him. And I think he's going to kind of turn it loose this year. I think another kid that's kind of under the radar right now is Wes Harvey. Little guy, but golly, man, he sticks his nose in there. He's not afraid to hit somebody. So he's another kid that I think is really going to, open the gate and show you what he can do. And another kid that's really impressed me as well, it's actually two of them, is Gabe Jones, our tight end and our lion, about a lot like, weak side backer. He is unreal. I mean, he big kid, can move. I think he's 6'4", 220, but he can move and he's athletic and, great hands, great work ethic. He's always constantly texting me, "Hey man, coach, I'm having a great. This is awesome. I love this practice." And hey, always trying to get into the playbook to see what's new. And so those guys have been awesome. And we call him Scooter. Caleb Taylor came into there, Ben, and what really gets me with Caleb is like I try to move him to Z, a different receiver, wide receiver position, and he was all like, man, I really like X. And I was like, I know. And then he ended up, we tried him out again at X, and he earned the job. I was like, kids, he didn't stop working. He didn't shut down because I changed him. He proved to me that he could do it. So, those are kind of some of the kids that really just stand out. I've got another kid, Braden Austin. Awesome job. Jasper, great lineman. Pulls, punch you in the mouth. Dalton Phillips, another kid, DP, we call him. He's our fullback. Unbelievable. I mean, we've got such a variety of kids, that it's hard to just single them out. You see them just going through the entire roster. It's like, man, it doesn't
Yeah.
stop. But it's just the kids are bought in, and like I said, they're working as a unit, and it's unreal just to see. And like it's really nice to actually have like a practice team as well. Like we have a really good solid 2 team that we get to practice against. So it's like playing against starters almost. So it's really helped us to have numbers. And those kids, like I said, all the kids are bought in, and it's just kind of hard to just single one out. But those are a few that I could tell you about that I think right now have just made a difference.
I'm not sure you can answer this. Being a new coach coming in, what you want to give away, what you don't. There's a lot of talk, especially around this area now, about systems. I guess when you got air raid at Honecker, you got spread here, you got running more power running game like teams, some of these other places. Is there a certain system that you were looking to implement coming in, or you just kind of take it year by year with what team you're going to have, or what's your game plan going forward? If you can elaborate, but if not, I understand you don't want to give too much away.
Right. Well, I mean, what they'll see it on film. I mean, we've started our scrimmage Friday, so we got to send film out. They'll see it, so I can go ahead and kind of start giving it out a little bit. We have a system in place that is designed to be run heavy. We can pass the football. We absolutely can. If I get the kid that can do it, we've got an unbelievable screen game that I had when I was over with Patrick Henry with Alan Feather. That man, the screen game with him was incredible, and that was one thing that I had told myself coming in. I've got to do a better job at. I didn't do a very good job when I was doing the JV, and I knew that. And so this year I have really made it a concern and a purpose to get that screen game involved. So we've got a lot of different things we can do. It's a multiple system. I can go wing T and run the exact same plays. I can go power I and run the exact same
Yeah.
plays. So it doesn't necessarily change what I'm calling run wise or pass wise. Just kind of changes how we're going to line up. We have right now in place, we have 12 formations. 12. And, of those formations, it's very dumbed down for those kids. Like, as long as they know how to line up, they know their route. I'm not making it hard. It seems like, wow, 12 formations. We only have 9 pass plays.
Yeah.
We only have 5 run plays. But we get in at different sets and we make it tough for teams to, or that are going to try to scheme against us to go, like, man, this week they're really good at power. Next week they're really good at inside zone. Like, how do we take this away? What do you take away? And so my job, what my system does, is that we're able to get in and out of different things, kind of like what Alan did over at PH, to find that one weakness that you just can't stop, and we exploit it. And we just start hammering it, and he did a really good job over there, and that's where I learned that from. The system he ran there was prevalent around getting guys misaligned. If we can get you out of alignment, it's tough to stop us. So, like I said, it's a multiple system. We can do different things. You're going to see a lot of different stuff, and kind of excited about it, man. Kids have, like I said, it's the crazy thing is they've really learned it. They know it, they understand it. So.
Yeah, and it seems like it's gonna be a very methodical approach to the offense. I'm excited to see it, and I think based on the schedule that I found, you have North Green week 1.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so just I know that's looking ahead just a little bit, but just key things you want to focus on in that week 1 matchup.
We've kind of stayed some film on them. We saw like their spring stuff. Their spread team, they spread the ball, throw it a little bit. So, we're going to kind of see who their best player is. We're going to see and key on them. We're going to find their best run play, and we're going to find their best pass play. we're going to find what we're talking about defense here. We're going to find what their identity is. And we're going to take that identity away. If I can get you out of your element and get you to play at a different level, like, hey, I'm a power team. Well, we're going to play to stop your power. If you're a dive team, I'm going to play to stop your dive. Let's get you away from your best play and see how you respond. So, we're going to look at them, see what their best stuff is, and we're going to take this, what we can away, their best run, their best passes, defensively, and we're going to try to, like I said, we're going to try to line correctly, alignment and assignment. Offensively, what coverage they're in, what we can and can't run offensively with our runs. I look at runs first. I'm a run heavy guy. So I'm going to look and see what we can and can't do with the run game. Once we've narrowed that down, we're going to look into our passing game and then, our protection game, and then we're going to look into our screens. So, right now it's just about focusing on us and making sure that I'm putting our kids in the best situation possible to win a football game come week 1.
Cameron probably has something after this. I always like to throw a random thing out. Usually it's like a top 3 or something list. You playing collegiately is my question for you. It doesn't have to be like the right or wrong list. Just the 3 that come to your head, the quickest. We'll go top 3, your top 3 best college football teams all time.
Of all time?
All time.
Oh, man. Notre Dame, Alabama. It's tough. And I'm going to have to honestly say Texas, University of Texas. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got it. I mean, most people can't get it under the time frame. You got it.
That was pretty good. See, I was going to say, technically, what I was actually meaning was a year, like a 90 whatever team, but that would have been too hard probably. So the way you answered it was probably the best answer. Yeah, because I seen what made me think of that was I seen whatever year it was, Miami team that was so good that if they hadn't scored an offensive touchdown, would have finished the season 8-4.
That was what I was thinking about too. I was like, man, Miami was my third.
Right, yeah. So as much as I hate Miami, like they're up there. That team is like, undeniably good and loaded. Like I can't remember the number of NFL stars. Yeah.
Ed Reed, I think, was on that team.
Loaded,
it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare team.
So, but those were 3 good programs you named off there. It was, I mean, you can't beat those 3 longevity wise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that I guess I don't have any more, Jamar. So I appreciate you coming on, Coach. I think both of us really enjoyed hearing from you, and I know all the fans and stuff will too. And I know you got us excited. We're gonna have to make a trip over there and watch you.
Absolutely, guys.
I actually, not obviously it'll be a while before we can do this. I'm very interested. If you would be interested, us having you back on like way down the road at some point. We do like a special guest thing. I'm more curious to find out about your career and your playing days. So if you'd be interested in it, we'd love to have you back on sometime. Do a little bit longer interview because I'm very curious to hear, and talk to you more. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it's awesome. Anything I can do to kind of get some fan base around Castlewood. We really want to, like I said, get the community bought into us, and I'm excited to do that for you guys, man. Sit down, talk, and live it up.
Yeah, sounds good. Good luck this season, and hope y'all stay healthy, and we'll keep an eye out.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Come catch a game, man. If y'all down, come holler at me.
Awesome.
10-4.
See you guys.
See you.
We'll get started here. We're back again here with Twin Springs head coach Keith Warner. Coach, after a few great years, you guys are losing quite a bit. Players moving on. How do you plan on replacing them and sustaining the success that you had?
I think it's just a culture that we've built up here. I got great kids. They're willing to put in the work. They know what's been done before them. That there's been a foundation that's been laid, and they understand. What our program's about. We're not all about wins and losses. Those are going to take care of themselves. So, anytime. I mean, you guys know, anytime a school our size, when you lose 13 guys, you lose 90% of your touchdowns, 92% of your yardage, on offense. Yeah, it's tough, but, I understood that when I took this job, when I came back home. So, it's nothing that we're going to run from. These young guys, it's their time. They've earned it. Um, some of these guys have stood behind some of these guys, for 2 or 3 years, and they're eager for the opportunity, and that's kind of our mindset, as next man up. We really had to use that mindset last year with all the injuries. Like we played 14 kids in the region semifinal game last year, so they're a great group of kids, guys. They work hard. They're fun to be around, and I've told a couple other media outlets, this preseason, this is one of the most fun core group of kids that we've had in the off season and the summer. So, I hope it translates to wins and losses, but I'm proud as heck of them for the way they've responded. And, the chips are going to fall where they are, but at the end of the day, I know every coach says it, it's coach's talk, but man, we got some really good kids, and it's been a blast so far. So, you probably won't hear many coaches at least 13 seniors say that.
No, that's a pretty big chunk, like you said, of production that you lose there. I guess going into the off season, what's been your thoughts on what y'all's preseason looked like? Have you been happy with I guess numbers you've had out? Is it up or down at all from previous, or is it about average? And has there been any unexpected surprises, good, I guess good ones, like any kids that have really you've seen make really big jumps from last year that you maybe weren't expecting that was to be like a pleasant surprise?
It's a numbers game at a school like ours. Both of you guys, y'all, that's why I was excited to do this podcast. You guys know, how, the difficulties we face year in and year out at small schools. We are down in numbers. We are, but that's the nature of the beast at our school. I don't know exactly. We were running enrollment reports the other day. We got 80 boys, 80-ish boys in the schools. So, we got 30 playing football, past couple of years. We've had really good numbers. We've had 35 or 36, so I've only got 36 jerseys. So we were sweating it the past
Yeah,
couple of years. I think we're safe this year. So
that's a good problem to have, I guess.
it's a good problem to have. So, 30 kids, like, my goodness, guys, that's a third of your boys playing football. So, I think any other school in the nation would take 30% of their boys, playing football. I mean, um, if these bigger schools have 30%, they're going to have 160 kids on their team. So the participation rate for our guys, it speaks volumes, for the school of our size. Um, these kids, I wouldn't say surprises, because we've expected them to kind of take these roles and run with them. We had to move Clay Ross to quarterback. He replaces Abel Dingus. Abel, he was, an all conference quarterback, and, a great leader for us. One of the best leaders that I've had since I've been at Twin Springs. So, Clay, he's got big shoes to fill, but he's taking it and stride and running with it. And the reason I'm impressed with Clay is because it's not just the football field. I mean, this kid's cleaning up the locker room. I mean, he's willing to throw in a load of laundry. He's helping me unload laundry. He's taking out trash. And those I don't even have to ask him. So, when you see, kids at his age doing those little things, as a coach, it's huge, especially when it's your quarterback and the leader of your offense. So, that's been great to see from Clay. Offensive wise, he's getting his reads down, and they're not direct calls. Our quarterback is important. We're reading, we're giving him an option to be an athlete. We want him to create plays with his legs, as well as his arm. We're not turning around and just handing it to anybody on a play call. It's all reading. So he's got a lot of weight on him. Clay, if you hear this, sorry, buddy, but then those other guys, we lost Colton Kilgore. I mean, my goodness, he's a state champion, hurdler. I mean, that's crazy, for this area. So we got to injure Myers. We're putting him in the right back in the backfield. Probably the best off season, that the kids probably had at Twin Springs. He's probably gained 20 pounds. He's increased his speed. I think he's at 19 miles an hour now. So that's incredible. Julian, I say it every year, pound for pound, he's the toughest kid. I don't care, 1A, 2A, 3A. He's the toughest kid in Southwest Virginia. He's 5'6", 165 pounds, and he don't care who you are or how big you are. So he's kind of stepped into that role. And, there's so many young kids that are going to have to play that we're throwing to the fire. I don't want to leave any of them out, but we're going to start so many fresh new faces that are ready for the moment. They've handled it well, so it's been.
Yeah, and I mean, you've mentioned 80 boys and getting that kind of participation. I think it just speaks volumes about the program you've built there and even the success that you've had over the past few years. So I just kind of wanted to ask you a question about the culture that you've built, some of the tactics and stuff that you've used over the years, because I mean, evidently it's working. So I'm just curious on culture building, what and all you've done.
I've told them to do and not act how I did. So Jeremiah he can attest to that. So, but no, all jokes aside, guys, I'm straight up honest with my kids. I let them know the failures that I made as a kid. I let them know the failures I made as a young adult, and I let them know that, man, nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. They're not going to be perfect, but let's strive for that perfection. And when they mess up, everybody thinks that I'm this hard butt on them. I'm always on their hind end. Coach House right at Gate City, there was a term that I kind of stole from him and revamped it, and he loved them. He loved them. He chewed them, but he loved them. So my motto is coach them hard, love them harder. So I've kind of brought that mentality, and that's our motto at Twin Springs: is we're going to coach them hard, but we're going to love them harder. I think it's important to build that relationship with these kids. These are 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, and football and sports should be an outlet for these kids. I'm not hanging my hat on wins and losses, championships, and I know that's cliche to say, but truly I'm not, guys, because sports, they probably saved my life. Helped me when I didn't have anything as a kid. So it's really important for me to emphasize that with these kids, that this is an outlet. There's people that care about you. Whether you win or lose this football game, at the end of the night, I'm gonna put my arm around you. When we get in that huddle, I'm gonna tell you I love you. You're mine. And that's not coach's talk. That's from the heart. I've tried to kind of take that everywhere I've been. I was very, very blessed to be under some great coaches. I watch your all's podcast with Mark talk about Coach McCreary. Man, what a guy. I've taken a lot from him. Still call him, a lot. My college coach. And then I was fortunate to go to Gate City, guys. And everybody thinks coaching Magna it was all, joy and just easy. But, I learned a lot from Coach Meridian during those days. And I learned a lot from Coach House right down there. So my time at Gate City, you won't hear many people from Twin Springs say that, they got a place in their heart for Gate City. But man, I do. Those guys, they were good to me. They helped me mature, and I needed to get away from Twin Springs, where I was from, where I knew everybody. So I feel like, it's soft to say, but I feel like I really grew when I was able to, get down there with those guys in another program and understand how things are ran different ways, and I can take things that I like. And I use those things every day in our program. But at the end of the day, it boils down to caring about kids. And you guys, no disrespect, you guys say, what have I done? Man, I've not done nothing but love kids. My assistant coaches, they're great. They're just as qualified to be a head coach as I am. I say it all the time, and I'm not saying it to suck up to them or kiss their hind end. I had Joel Davis and Jerry Schuler. They're at Eastside now. Never once held them back. Like, I was proud as heck of those guys, what we did in that time at Twin Springs, and I was happy as heck for them to go back home to Wise County. And now I got Matt Bays, Keener Burt. They've been with us the whole time too. So, these guys could be head coaches anywhere else, but they truly want to be at Twin Springs. Everybody on our coaching staff is from Twin Springs except Keener. I coached him at Gate City. He went on and played at Concord. But he was one of those kids that I developed that relationship with. Him and Hunter Jones. And Hunter's the defensive coordinator at Gate City. Those were two kids, football wise, that I really bonded with. You know, so we still have that great relationship. So I've got Keener with me now, and we've turned him red. So everybody on our staff truly wants to be at Twin Springs. They're not using it as a stepping stone. They're not using it to be a head coach other places. They're not using it as a retirement job. Like, they truly are investing in our kids, in our small community, and in our program.
Um, speak on y'all's kind of the atmosphere at Twin Springs, and obviously, you just like in basketball, you have the Big Red Army. Y'all travel well in football. I'm sure. Some it's probably the same kind of thing. You played at Twin Springs, coaching there now. What are some? Are there any traditions that were carried on from like time you were there that still go on? And what kind of new traditions, whether it be walkout song or any kind of thing, just any kind of tradition that you've added since you've come back?
And you guys know, Twin Springs was a basketball. It's a basketball school. I mean, let's call it what it is. I was proud to be a part of that. And, and I take pride in the basketball tradition there too, but I also take pride in the football tradition. And Jeremiah, you guys, we played, in the region semifinals in football. A lot of people forget that, back in '04 and '05, Twin Springs played for two region championships in football. And, that was my sophomore and junior year. And so there's never been, there's never been anything, traditional wise. So we've kind of put our own stamp on things. The coaching turnover at Twin Springs, I mean, it's not been steady, for a while. So we take pride in that. But, we brought back a family atmosphere, We've tried to establish these things with tradition with an alumni night. I want those guys coming back. Even at a high school level, I want them coming back, and I want them being proud of what we've got going on. I want those guys coming in the locker room. I don't want them standing outside the field house waiting for us. Like, that's theirs. It was theirs before it was mine, and so I want those guys coming in. So we've tried to establish that aspect of it, kind of an alumni thing. But as far as walkout songs and all that, and I'm old school. I hate that garbage. They got us an inflatable tunnel this year, and I'm very thankful. Our people are great. They got us an inflatable tunnel, and I wasn't all about it, So the kids like it. We got guys, calling, texting, hey, you care if we come out and shoot a video? I'm like, nah, man, I love you. I appreciate it, but that ain't what we're about, man. Like, we're blue collar. My coaches give me a hard time because they wanted to put stripes on our helmets. Like, no, we're going with the TS on the side, the block TS. We ain't putting these fancy designs on. We're gonna be old school. We're gonna show up, and that's how I like it. I don't want. Lord, they started shooting off fireworks there when we started winning a couple of times in postseason. We'd run out. I love those guys. I'm very appreciative. So I'm not saying anything bad about them. So, but still, it took a lot for me to even get, okay with the fireworks because I don't like that stuff, guys. You're just at a small school and you play other schools and they may not have access to that stuff. So I'm not a big proponent of it. I just want kids to enjoy the game and take care of things on the field. When it's over, it's over. And I think that's the biggest thing I've taken from life is, I took sports so serious, man. Like I just, after the game, I was still fuming. Like, I had that competitive spirit. I was wanting to fight. Jeremiah knows I was awful. But I went in, man, I wanted to take it in, take it in stride and enjoy it. And, just let it be a life lesson.
Yeah, I don't necessarily. I guess I mentioned this to the other coaches it's already been on. Not a win total, but just expectations for the season, and kind of make that into a two-part question. Also, with expectations, name a player or maybe even players on your team that no one knows about right now, but by the end of the year, they're going to make a name for themselves.
We expect to be right there in the mix, guys. I mean, we're not being unrealistic. Um, our kids aren't satisfied with anything. Last year, I don't look at it. I really don't. I know some coaches say I don't look at this. I really don't. That stuff, preseason stuff, it doesn't matter to me. I think we were picked fourth last year or third or fourth. I can't. This year we'll probably be picked next to last. That's okay. That's okay. The year we won it, we were picked third, so it's okay. Let them. I love it. I love it. I can promise you, it's all over our locker room. It's good bulletin board material, and our kids, they take it. They don't take it lightly. So, our expectations are be right there in the middle of the fold. At the end of the year, and where the chips fall, they fall. And I tell you guys, Norton's going to be better. We got them early, so that's going to be a tough early uh, kickoff conference game. And then, Rycove's going to be Rycove, and then, they're, but East Side, they're well coached. Holy smokes, I lie. I mean, great friends with those guys up there. I think the world of those guys. They do a great job. They've been through their downtime, so they deserve everything that's coming their way too. So you can't count them out. And I keep saying, don't count my kids out. Don't count them out. I don't care if they've never played or not. Just I promise you, my kids are gonna play tough. They may not, they may not come out on the winning side of the scoreboard, but I think it doesn't matter who we play. My kids fought to the end against Union last year. Of course, we're a rubber match, athletic, so, but they fought to the end. That's a testament to those kids. So, I don't expect anything less from our kids to think that they can't be right there in the mix of things, come November. Is it going to be tough? It is, yes. And I've told them that it's going to be tough. Um, the district, I just think that speaks volumes of all the coaches in our conference. I mean, there's some really good coaches. And, on our team, I talked about him earlier, but we need Drew Myers. He would, I'm telling you, he's had a really, really good off season. I mean, he's put on weight, he's increased speed. So, um, him and Clay, we've been Clay the quarterback. So those two, they're going to lead us. Everybody knows about Julian. You look on film, you see a little 5'6" guy running around. Everybody knows him. So he's not going to surprise anybody. Yeah, Clay and Drew, I'm looking for them.
Usually I try to throw out like a random on topic, off topic, top 3 list for our guests. But I'm going to do something different with you, because you said that about Gate City earlier about, anybody from Twin Springs would be fine, hard to find a good word to say. So I'm going to change it from a top 3 to a question. And I'm not saying your opinion, but if you could take the average Twin Springs person, whether it be old, young, whatever, that you're in your opinion, what would the average Twin Springs fan, would it be more, I don't want to say animosity, but or bad blood, but would Gate City be a bigger rival or would Rye Cove be a bigger rival?
I think there's more respect there between Twin Springs and Gate City.
Mm,
No disrespect to Rock Cove. I think there's a mutual respect there. But as far as a rivalry, it would be Rock Cove.
okay.
I I think that I think that gap there, and I'm saying this very modestly, but I think that gap there with Twin Springs and Gate City, that was when we were in school. You guys know they were in our region, they were in your
Yeah.
all's region, so there it was a way bigger rivalry, then. Man, you wanted to beat Gate City, but as I went down there and spent, my time down there, people in Twin Springs, man, they supported me, and then they supported Gate City. Anytime Twin Springs wasn't playing, we'd look down and we would have our front row TS guys. They'd be sitting on the front row, and that was before Mac. So, and then Mac came along and everybody came to Gate City. So Mac probably helped
Yeah.
bridge that relationship there with Twin Springs and Gate City too. But I like to think that they were supporting me down there too. And now Twin Springs people they'll support Gate City. So that's good to see.
Okay. I didn't know if
Yeah.
the old basketball rivalry would be enough to overcome the recency between Rye Cove, so I wasn't sure. But being both one of the smaller divisions, it makes sense that Rye Cove is more of that rival,
Oh
I guess
yeah,
you would call it. So, and
yeah.
especially in the last couple few years, the battles y'all have had,
Oh yeah.
good football both teams have been playing. That's kind of
Hmm.
added to that. So it's been fun to watch. I was at the Rye Cove game last year. I think it was a regular season game. I can't remember for sure. It might have been
Was it at Twin
is
Springs?
that Twin Springs? Yeah, it was,
Yeah, that was the regular
regular
season.
season. Yeah, that was a great atmosphere. One of the best
It was.
I've been in. And I love y'all's field down the bowl. It's just a great place to watch a game. Um, so I'm gonna try to. I'd love to try to get to all the teams around at some point this year. So if we can make it that way, we'll let you know. We'll try to get over and watch one.
It's a fun game, and I hate the adults have ruined it the past 2 years. The coaches and the kids, man, it's awesome.
Yeah,
We got nothing but love and respect for some of my best friends are teaching and coaching at Ryco, but man, this day and time, it's just, and it's both sides. My goodness, these adults, they need to let it go. Like
yeah,
it's over. Like, but they're passionate, so, and that's
yeah,
what makes it fun. That's what makes
yeah,
it fun.
yeah.
So it's a good time.
I got one more before we get you out of here. You mentioned Northwood week 1, right?
Northwood week 1.
Yeah, just some keys to that game, real quick.
I think we've got to take care of the football with a young football team. Um, you know, we can bend but not break. I just want to see limited turnovers, and I want to see my guys fight, play hard, and that's always a tough game, guys. I don't know what it is about Northwood. I mean, even when we won conference, made it to region semifinals, they give us everything we want first game of the year. And I know everybody's working out some kinks, but man, they get those guys fired up when they play us. So they're gonna give us everything we want, and it's gonna be a really good season opener ball game. And I look forward to it. Um, but we got limit turnovers, take care of the ball, and we got to establish drives offensively, especially with our offense. And then defensively, we're gonna play a lot of young guys too, so they've got to come downhill, and we have to tackle well. We can't give up the big plays. And I think that's what we're going to start with, the building blocks of our season. That's what I want to see, and I just want to see our kids just reading their keys on defense. They get so caught up in watching the ball and watching the backfield. I just want them to do their job, and if they mess up after they've got that initial read, that's okay. But if they get that initial read early on, and I can see that on film, I'll be happy with that.
Sounds, good luck, Coach, this season. Hope y'all stay healthy. We look forward to following along. We appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate what y'all do for our area. I love listening, guys.
Thanks.